You know, Christmas is normally such a wonderful time of year, although we can easily get stressed out and distracted and lose sight of the fact that Jesus is the reason for the season. Joining us today to chit chat a bit about Christmas is Lethbridge Pastor Kelly Stickel, lead pastor for Parallel Church. Welcome back to BCN, Pastor Kelly.
Yeah, thanks, Hal. It's great to be with you.
You bet. Now, first of all, can you tell us about what's happening at Parallel Church for Christmas this season?
Wow, yeah, we have a lot going on. Of course, we host the Shop of Wonders, which is always a big outreach that we do into the community, and this year's been record-setting in that regard. We've also had we have a children's takeover service coming up this Sunday, December 17th, where it's exciting to see our kids do a big. They're doing a Polar Express presentation. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then on Christmas Eve, we have three services, our 9:30, 11:15, and 1 p.m. service. We're going to do Christmas Eve in the morning because, of course, Christmas Eve this year is Sunday. So we decided we're gonna do the Sunday morning and add the service in the afternoon and then allow people to be with their families on Christmas Eve.
You know, Pastor Kelly, a lot of people who don't normally attend church do so on Christmas, take in a Christmas Eve service, especially the candlelit services. So much fun. The kids enjoy with the candles as well. Do you find that more people come out during the holiday season?
Definitely. There's yeah, Christmas and Easter are two of the, primary times a year where we see a lot of family members, unchurched, uh, come out, and then a lot of families, might not attend church regularly, but during Christmas, that it's just they've created a family tradition where they'll go to a service as part of their family get-togethers, and that. So yeah, we do see a lot of people that their first. I talk with people all the time that their first Sunday attending was either a Christmas Eve service or an Easter service, and that they made a connection with Jesus at that particular service. So a lot of unchurched people come out this time of year.
You know, every year we say that this Christmas is going to be totally different, but too often it ends up being the same crazy rush. You got a lot of fathers and husbands, and I won't name any people in my family who are scrambling on Christmas Eve looking for gifts
Yeah, and
sometimes.
I don't know anybody either.
No,
Yeah.
right? So, any tips on actually how we can slow things down and appreciate Christmas for what it really is?
Yeah, I think that's always a pressure. I feel that same pressure. There's a lot, of course, a lot of busyness that comes with this season, just in our work life and ministry life, and then family and all the extra elements that go along with it. That every single year you feel that pressure. No, what this is crazy. This is getting out of hand. But I think for me, one of the things as I grow older, I've paid more attention to the moments and taking in the moments, especially with family, and appreciating the moments and the time that we get to spend in the traditions, and creating memories and celebrating those memories as much as possible, and focus on that and kind of being in the moment instead of always focusing on I got to get this done, I got this list to do, we have to do that, and just paying attention to those closest to us and making memories with them.
Amen to that. You know, another issue for a lot of Canadians sometimes is overspending during the holidays, stretching that credit card limit to the max. We can feel pressure to buy gifts for everyone. Any thoughts on how to really set reasonable limits without feeling guilty?
I think it's always wise. And I know for a lot of people it's probably a little bit late now, but I think one thing that my wife and I began doing years ago was we actually put into our budgets, the birthday gifts, and we know, within our family, but also we put into our budgets the Christmas gift, and saying this is the set amount that we're going to spend, and there's a freedom in being able to do that and put it into the budget where you're not feeling that stress, or you're not feeling you know all of the retail outlets know this time of year that people are in that mood of purchasing and buying gifts, and so they kind of tempt you with, "Well, just go a little bit bigger." But when you have a set limit, a set budget, and okay, I've got freedom to be able to spend within that budget, but I'm also not going to be tempted to overspend. And then of course just make it a rule. I think the basic rules that we're just not going to go in debt. Um, for spending, like, just don't do it, because and inevitably you push that limit and going, oh, we'll just delay it, but that adds enormous amount of pressure, especially coming into the new year.
So, Pastor Kelly, this is the time of year we hear a lot of, and we see a lot of commercials promoting Santa Claus and all of Santa's reindeer and Frosty the Snowman. How can we really bring it back to the fact that we're celebrating Jesus' birthday?
Yeah, I think it's always it's an interesting dilemma that is constantly the commercialization of Christmas, and then also you see the attempts to um, take we can't say Merry Christmas anymore. One place was it was like it's Happy Winter. It wasn't even Happy Holidays. Like I was like, or holidays, and I was like, that's just is bizarre how they're trying. Society's trying to do whatever they can to remove it. But I think it's always coming back to just historically saying what are we celebrating? Why are we celebrating it? Even I've taught in our church on who Santa Claus, where that whole mystical being, like where it all came from, and really Saint Nicholas and all of it was all about celebrating Jesus himself. So all of that points back to Jesus and to the reason for the season, and just you know constantly reminding ourselves, but also especially our children in taking time during the Christmas season to read the Christmas story, to remind them of what the season's about, to make it a special celebration for Jesus, and just continuing to remind our children and each other what Christmas is all about, where it came from, and why we're celebrating it.
Honoring God, amen. You know, we have this Christmas ornament in our house we hang on the tree each and every year. It's an ornament of Santa Claus taking off his hat and kneeling at the cradle of Jesus.
I love that.
You know, so that's kind of like meshing the two together. You know, Christmas, Pastor Kelly, is an awesome time of year for so many of us. Get together with family and friends, like you said, take in a wonderful Christmas Eve service. But it's not for everyone. Now, from your experience as a pastor, what are the challenges that people typically face during the holiday season?
I think that there probably two of the biggest challenges are families or people that have lost a family member or a loved one in the last year. And it comes, especially that first Christmas, after having lost a loved one within the year becomes extra hard because of the memories that are created, and the empty seat at the table becomes very emotional, very painful, and it pulls out a lot of the grief. So this season, I think just being sensitive to those, and being, if you're in that situation, being aware that, yeah, Christmas is going to pull on that, and it's not wrong to grieve. It's not wrong to feel sad. That's just it's part of the grieving process. So I think there's enormous loss that people feel. I think the other one is people feel alone if they aren't surrounded through circumstances, whether it be geography or whether it be divorces or separations, or that feel where they feel extra alone in a year, and it can become very difficult for those people as well. To It's just they feel extra alone in a season like when they see other families celebrating together and gathering together, and they feel that much more alone. So I think just being aware of that, and being um, I think cognizant of people in our community are feeling that and being sensitive to that. And if you are one of those people, the reason for the season is that we are never alone because Jesus came, Emmanuel, God with us. That's part of it. And that because of Jesus, we are eternal beings, and that we have the opportunity to see our loved ones again, especially as believers. We'll see our loved ones again, and so we can pull on again that purpose of Jesus coming and what we're celebrating at Christmas.
So, what can we really do to help those who are feeling lonely and depressed during the Christmas season?
I'd encourage people. I mean, open your homes to people. If you know someone's going to be alone, like, welcome them in as part of your family. Be aware of them. Be sensitive to them. I think even as you're out in the community shopping, and we inevitably run into the grumpy shopper, or somebody that's in traffic that is not as polite as they should be. All these things, just I think extra grace this season, realizing that this is not the the best time of year for some people. It's some of the hardest time of year, and just being extra patient, and being aware of the people around us and what they may be going through.
You know, when I was a kid, it was kind of the norm to bundle up nice and warm with the family, go out and sing Christmas carols, walk around the neighborhood. You can enjoy a lot of the beautiful Christmas lights, and maybe even drop off some Christmas baking to your neighbors. Do people still do that, or is that maybe gone by the wayside nowadays?
It's definitely not as prevalent as it used to be. I grew up in a small town, and so where a lot of us knew one another, and that was a lot more prevalent than what I see now. I think just society as a whole, we're more isolated than ever before, and people are more reluctant to go out and more less trusting to be able to do that kind of thing. But I still see have carolers come, by our house, and I celebrate that. I love that. That's uh, part of being community, and I know that people still share goodies and have those celebrations together, and I love it. I do see it, but it's not as common as it used to be. That's for sure.
In our house, when we're decorating the Christmas tree, we put on Feliz Navidad by either Jose Feliciano or Boney M, Elvis's Blue Christmas, but then some of the traditional Christmas carols, Oh Holy Night, Silent Night, and sometimes we sing it in German, Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht. What were some of the traditions in your family here?
Yeah, well, I come from a German family, so yeah, Stille Nacht was definitely that was part of it. I grew up with Boney M was it was my dad's favorite Christmas album, so yeah, we listened to that one on repeat, and yeah, so lots of yeah, and my grandma, the Christmas baking was out of this world, and some of the cooking and all the different things that we would have during Christmas is a very special memory.
Now, any final thoughts on how to keep Jesus, Christ, in Christmas to help reach out to other people in our community?
Yeah, I would, part of I'd make sure that in your gatherings, your family gatherings, to make Jesus at the center. And there's creative things that we've done with our family. We read the Christmas story, of course, in multiple different ways and approaches, and keep that as part of the celebration before gift openings, or just that. The other things that we've done though is we've made my wife's made baked a birthday cake, and when our kids were young, we'd sing "Happy Birthday" to Jesus and make it kind of a birthday party celebration for Jesus, and remembering that he's the season. Get creative with it, but make sure that that everyone in the family knows, hey, this is why we're gathering, and this is what we're celebrating, and then taking it to the community is, while we're generous with one another and our families and those that we love most, is encourage people to be generous with those in need, that you see. And there's needs all around us. If we have eyes to see, there's needs everywhere. And in this season, if we can be generous, with those in our community, or those that we know in our workplace, or those in our neighborhood, and we know that, hey, things are tighter for them this year. They lost a loved one. Hey, maybe let's go to them and bring the baking to them, because and just saying, hey, we're thinking of you, and just be generous as we can to our neighbors as well.
And I guess at the same time, if people can't be generous financially, because a lot of Canadians are financially strapped right now at this time of year, maybe we can give of our time. Read to a senior in a senior's home, maybe help out at the food bank, or even volunteer at the soup kitchen.
Absolutely. Yeah, any of those things is again a reminder of, hey, we're celebrating that God so loved the world that he gave. And so there's this is an opportunity to go, man, God gave for me. What can I do to give for others? And if it's not financially, then what can there's lots of things I can give. Time and energy and a smile, like a hug, whatever it might be. There's lots of things that I can give, but just remember that, hey, we're giving because he gave to us.
How important is it then, Pastor Kelly, to really serve others in our community, especially during the Christmas season, showing Christ's love?
It's vital. Paul says this in Galatians 5, that the only faith that counts is the one that expresses itself through love. And a lot of what we as believers believe is, it's not just a personal relationship, but that our mandate is to, God loved us, we can love others. Jesus said, a new command I give you, love one another. So when we're celebrating Jesus coming to earth, God with us, I think we have not just a responsibility, but an obligation to therefore give and be generous to those around us, and meet needs, and love on our community, love our neighbors, and not just keep the faith to ourselves, but to share it with others.
and invite people over for eggnog and fruitcake. I don't, although, you know what? A lot of my friends don't even like fruitcake and eggnog anymore. So.
I don't even like eggnog, so I don't like either one of those, but
You know
I'll share
what?
that generously.
I'm an oddity in that way. I guess like mom used to say, hey, the more for me, son, right?
That's right, exactly.
Kelly Stickles, the lead pastor of Parallel Church in Lethbridge. Thanks so much for your time today, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Hal.